Giving people a voice. A Siouxland High School class joined together to create a documentary showing the strength of their town following June's tragic flooding. Tonight, the creative media class of West Sioux High School held a screening of the documentary called Voices of the Flood. They interviewed community members, first responders, and volunteers in Haywarden about how they were impacted by the flooding. The idea first came from a community member who brought the idea to creative media teacher Riley Van Art. For the past 3 months, 8 students in the class spent countless hours interviewing, filming, editing, all to give those who were impacted a voice.
I learned how much it really affected everybody. I didn't think it affected that much, and it affected really a lot of people.
Now, the initial idea started as a small project and soon turned into months of work, but throughout the process, they all realized how much they were helping the community by making this documentary.
I mean, they were giving voices. They were allowing people who may have not even started their healing process be able to reflect and to cope and deal with the things that happened. And these high school girls were able to help with that experience. And what more could you ask for an educational experience?
Now, their documentary will be available to watch on YouTube in the coming week. For more on that, you can visit this story on our website at ktivtv.com.